We have food.
Coffee, tea, Dave Day.
We have food. That gets my dog excited.
Yes.
I mentioned food. If I go out to dinner, she goes, "You come."
We have brownies, blondies, cookies.
David Day.
Dave Day. Lemon bars, coffee, tea. Come on in, everybody.
And she said brownies. Keep in mind that Jonathan McGrew is from Colorado.
Oh, okay. Ooh,
That's all I'm saying.
That's all he's saying.
That's
We'll
all
just
I'm
leave it
saying.
at that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first Case Study Cafe at Graph Expo 14. Hi, Eddie. How you doing? Today, we're privileged to have back again for year 2. Well, yes, year 3 of sponsorship, but year 2 of Case Study Cafe. The comedy stylings of Dave Day and Jonathan McGrew from Crawford Technologies. Today they're going to be talking to us about helping the operations manager manage their operations in a seamless and stress-free way. And they're going to present a case study about how Crawford did exactly that. So without further ado, Dave Day, Jonathan Malone McGrew.
All right, so I'm going to let Dave actually advance the slides here because
That's all
I like
do.
him to be stationary.
And that's all I'm trained to do.
Yeah, well, you know. So here's our agenda. We are going to introduce the cast of characters. We're going to go over a brief overview of Crawford Technologies, very brief, because we want to jump right into a day in the life and how today's ADF can make our operations manager more efficient and educated and stress-free, as Deborah Korn said. It's a combination of case studies. So we wanted to give you a flavor of what people go through really in a day in the life of an operations manager. So it truly is that. So we'll also have questions and answers after that. Now, our cast of characters. Of course, you have me, Jonathan McGrew, Marketing Communications Manager, doing the overview. Here at Crawford Technologies, I help manage the customer communications of our company and our brand. Then we have our operations manager, David Day. Now, David Day is actually our subject matter expert in production management workflows. He's also a product marketing manager. And, in this particular role, he is going to play the role of the operations manager. He's known operations managers for, Noah was a
long time.
Yeah, Noah was a boy.
I played with Gutenberg.
Gutenberg, even. Yes.
Yeah, we played together in the sandbox.
Right. So, with that said, we will then also have myself playing the role of a customer support rep, account executive in the sales department, and we will also have me playing a compliance officer. And you'll see how all of these characters come in to interact with our operations manager. So, without further ado, we will turn it over and get started on our journey in this Case Study Cafe. So, take it away.
Jonathan, you forgot to mention that there is a test at the end. It's only 25 pages, about 250 questions, but it is open book, so take a lot of notes, and we hope you do well. Hey, anyways, in my operation, which is really a consolidation of several case studies, I didn't want to use just one, so I took several of our customers and combined them together to make a massive case study. But for our environment, we are a print services provider. We do print and mail. We mail approximately 325,000 mail pieces consisting of 500,000 pages per day on an average. We have a complex off-the-shelf document composition engine. To say it's older than dirt is to be saying a lot of credit to it. It's quite old. We have dozens and dozens of homegrown programs. And yes, we are still using COBOL to do some of our programs. We have 2 brand X continuous printers, and we have 2 brand Y cut sheet printers, all of them running AFP. From an inserting perspective, since we're print and mail, we also have 3 intelligent inserters, and we have 2 swing arm non-intelligent inserters. So, As I look at it from an operations perspective, my biggest problems are to be able to answer requests from customers to convert documents to an alternative format document, print or electronic. The world is going electronic in some cases. Some people want electronic documents. Some people, like me, like print and mail and paper. And then there's a need for repeatable and cost-effective solutions that we can use to standardize our organization. Remember, I've got both cut sheet and I've got continuous form. I've got OMR and I've got no non-OMR barcode technologies for my inserters. So I've got pretty much a little bit of everything and nothing really standardized. Another problem is I'm looking to be a one-stop solution to minimize the number of vendors. In my list I presented to you, I'm only mailing 325,000 envelopes a day, yet I have 4 different vendors. I have 2 vendors for printers and 2 vendors for inserters. And we're going to hear about this a little bit later, but I've also have to reduce or eliminate my regulatory and compliance risks. How many people in this room, hey, this is the audience participation part, how many people in this room have a business where they don't have any regulations or compliance they have to deal with? 1, 2. You don't have to worry about people having screen guild cards and all of that stuff when you video them and all of that. So, anyways, but everybody that was in the graphical arts or the printing and mailing all said and raised their hands, yes, we do. And then we want to be able to improve our customer service and lower our costs. How many times have you had a budget at the end of the year where your boss came in and said, hey, you did a great job, we're going to give you a pile more money to do work with? Who's awake? No. So, again, our goals are to reduce operational expenses, reduce the cost of customer service, meet the regulatory compliances, improve our share of the wallet. We want to get more and more business. Improve our customer retention. We want to keep and maintain and achieve brand consistency. And that's critical if we start looking at alternative distribution channels. We want to be able to enable those multi-channel communications. We want to identify cross-selling opportunities, and we want to improve our cash flow. Whew. Man, we got a lot to do.
So where do we go from here? Operations, the final frontier. These are the challenges of the ABC Mail Center. It's continuing operations to reduce expenses, to seek increased productivity, and new challenges to boldly go where no operation has gone before.
Thank you, Captain Kirk.
You're welcome.
So let's take a typical look at the day in the life of a print and mail operations manager. Moi. So, in answer to your question, we do have sound effects here. So basically at 7:30 I get into the office and the first thing I have is a turnover meeting because I want to know what happened on second and third shifts yesterday. I want to know what the anomalies are, what happened. I need to know what the expected jobs are today. I need to know, do we have any rush jobs today? And then, just out of curiosity, is any of my equipment scheduled for PM? So this is a meeting where I've got the people that are leaving from the night shift and myself and my team from the morning and day shift all trying to figure out what we're doing. And this produces a lot of work, a lot of paperwork, and a lot of manual work. Well, then, oh man, that's nice and loud. Then at 8 o'clock, since I've had my turnover meeting, I want to walk the floor. So I usually I go over to my IT guys and say, hey guys, how's everything going? How's the world of processing? How are the jobs? I get everything from, hey, they're going great, to, oops, we didn't get it in on time, so guess what? It's going to be delayed for you. I go over to my print supervisor and say, hey, Mr. Print Supervisor, how's the world of print going? Hey, it's going great. We got all the printers up and running. Everything's fantastic. Give us the data from IT and we're ready to go. Talk to my inserter supervisor, same thing. The world's great. I'm ready to go. I'm just waiting from the printer guys. When they're going to have it to me? So I tell them again the story about the IT getting the data late. Therefore, the print's going to be a little bit late, and they're going to be a little bit late getting it. And then I do have some on-site vendors that I talk with because of my high turnover of print that I have to have, I keep some on-site service for my printers and an on-site service rep for my inserters. So now we're up to 9:30. How do you like that stolen sound effect we got from somewhere? I'm up to 9:30, and I start preparing my daily reports. Now, how many people to gather your daily reports walk over to a device over here and pick up a bunch of paper and sit there and go, how'd it go? Got everything done yesterday? This is where you say yes or no. No, you didn't. So we were a little bit late. So I need to track what's happening. Then I can come over here, and I see that my insert guys aren't even here. So I can't even ask them, but I can pick up their report and see what's happening. Then I can go back to my lonely writer's garret and see what I've got. So I've gathered all the data from the jobs, and I'm sorting out the job tickets to see where we are. Now I'm going to enter it in spreadsheets. And I do the fat finger method. I can type very fast like this. I'm sorry, I'm not that talented. I can only do one hand. I can't do the two fingers. This finger here is for the shift key. Then I'm going to print reports, and then I'm going to have to email my status to accounting because they've got a bill. I've got to email it to my senior management and all of this. Keep in mind, I started doing this at 9:30. I've already had my turnover meeting and everything else. Oh, jeez. Hello.
Yes, Dave, this is customer service calling. We have a customer on the phone here who didn't receive their statement on time. They're very cross with us because, well, they've had identity theft several times. So they'd like to know exactly when they're going to get their statement, and I need to be able to tell them.
Oh boy, I just input some of the data. Can you do me a favor and email me their name and account number?
No.
Okay, then tell it to me right now.
Well, all right. It's Jane Smith, and her account number is 453-222-145.
Got it. Okay, Jane Smith. So now, what I've got to do? I've got to check the status of this. Because Jane's upset with my customer service rep. My customer service rep is upset with me. It's not a good day yet. So the first thing I've got to do is verify what cycle Jane's statement was in. Well, we printed her 2 days ago. Okay, maybe she would have had it. It should have gone in the mail two nights ago, so she should have really had it. So now I need to contact IT to confirm the mail piece in question is in the correct cycle. Did Jane's piece really make it into cycle 15? Does this sound familiar? Okay, we've been through this before? Yeah. So I now find out, it was in 15. Now I've got to go to my print group. Hey, printer group, do you guys remember if anything happened to Jane's statement 2 days ago? Well, I don't know. We printed it. So I don't know what happened. So now I've got to go back and talk to my insert group because the printer group's pretty concerned. They didn't have any anomalies. The reports say they're good. I come over here to my insert group and ask them the same question. Anything happened? I don't know. Look at the reports. So I look at the reports, and sure enough, it was submitted for a reprint. And therefore, as I'm reprinting it, I have to contact IT again. When did we reprint Jane's statement? You're getting it today. So I now know that. So now what I've got to do is I've got to call back customer support. Ring, ring.
This is customer support.
You called me on Jane's statement. There was an anomaly in the processing, and please let her know that it is in the mail this afternoon, and she should have it by Wednesday. And tell her thank you. We apologize for it, but we'd rather she get it correct than not at all.
Right.
Okay?
Sure.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day. So, don't you love customer service?
I heard that.
I hate it when they don't hang up. So, what have we accomplished? Well, we got Jane off our back. We told her that. But in the process, we've wasted 45 minutes of time tracking down Jane's statement. I impacted 5 people. I talked to the IT group. I talked to my print supervisor. I talked to my insert supervisor. And I talked to customer service 2 times. So it's a lot of lost productivity on their part, and a lot of additional time on my part. Okay, we move forward to 1:23 p.m. Guess what? One of my printers just went oops and is no longer working. So my service vendor, whom I called, indicated that it might be 2 hours before they arrive, and it could be 2 or 3 additional hours to fix it. Sound familiar? So now that can mean I can be anywhere from 4 to 5 hours late getting this job out. What does that do to my service level agreement, my SLA? So now I need to contact IT to rerun several jobs for cut sheet, because these were continuous, but I can still run them on cut sheet, but they have to change the job over to run on cut sheet. And I also have to contact my warehouse group to tell them, hey, you better bring some cut sheet paper up because we're going to need it. And then, last but not least, I have to tell my insert operators that expect more jobs on cut sheet than on continuous, because they've got to change some of the input feeders to the inserters. So all of this because one of my devices is down between 4 and 5 hours. Ah, jeez. Hello.
Hey, Dave, your favorite sales executive here.
Oh, hi, Sam.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
What brings you to my neck of the woods?
Oh, I got a great job for you today. I got this great business that I think will help us.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So all we need to do is take PDF in and help this customer.
What part of AFP don't you understand?
The PDF part.
So basically, we thanks. I'll take a look at that. I actually have a sales rep coming in to talk to me later, and I might be able to address that.
But big business.
As you know, right now I can't help you, but I think we'll be able to in the future. Let me get back to you. Okay?
Do you understand dollar signs?
Yeah, I do. Click. Make sure he hangs up. But this is a problem, because a lot of times there's a lot of opportunity that we lose because we can't do it. And I'm using one of my case studies where I actually asked the salesperson of that company, how much business do you walk away from? Not what PDL do you use, do you print AFP, do you print PDF, whatever it is. How much business are you walking away because you can't support that particular print definition language or be able to change it? So it's very critical that we be able to do it, and you're going to see in the solution that was presented in this case study how we addressed it. Well, meetings are always something in the world of an operations manager as well as operating, and I've got a lot of meetings, and it's about time for my meeting that I have on my calendar for my compliance officer. And between you and me, these are generally not happy meetings. Last time, they accused me of putting someone's statement in someone else's envelope. Has that ever happened? Oops. Anyways, we addressed all the issues we had in the past with our tracking and automated reprint. So I've got to find out what this is all about. So, I guess my compliance officer is going to be coming by.
Hey, Dave. So, about that compliance issue we have a big problem, you see. And our big problem is that you're not compliant with Section 508.
508. Is that anything like my 401k?
No, it's not.
Oops.
Yeah. Oops is right. It's an ADA requirement that we deliver accessible statements to people when they need them. You know this, Dave. We've had this conversation.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. So what's our solution?
Well, I also don't have to also start redacting documents.
Well, you might.
What's our solution? I've got some folks coming in this afternoon I'm going to be talking with, and hopefully I'll have some answers for you. So stay tuned.
Should we put a meeting on the calendar?
Yeah, let's put it on for tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. Okay. Thank you, Dave.
Okay. So, Jonathan brought up something called accessibility. And is everybody familiar with Section 508? Because, not too long ago, 508 is Americans with Disability Act. Section 508 specifies that you must, and the word must is in there, be able to deliver documents in the form that the recipient wants. If they're visually impaired or need a different solution, you have to be able to do it. So in other words, I can call up my big bank in America, or whichever one I want to call up, and tell them I want this in Braille. They have to be able to do it. Now, they don't have to meet the same deadline and the same timeline, but they have to be able to present it to me in a form that I can understand. And this goes through all the documents. Well, it's not as easy as you think, because there are a lot of people that can convert something from text to Braille, and it's really easy. They simply start at the top of the document and go all the way down to the bottom. When you look at your transaction from American Express or Visa or MasterCard or Discover Card or any of those, what's the first thing you look at on the statement? You just opened up your American Express statement. What's the first thing you look at? The balance. And that's up on the top left corner, right? No, it's not. It's somewhere about in the middle. In fact, I think on the American Express card, it's down on the bottom on the part that you tear off. I forget whether this is on top or bottom. But the bottom line is, when you're dealing with Braille or accessibility, you don't just read top down, left, right. You've got to actually put it in sections. So again, why accessibility? In the United States, there are approximately 21.2 million adult Americans, which is more than 10% of the adult population, that have trouble seeing even when wearing glasses or contact lenses, or that they are unable to, and there's over 30 million in the European Union. So it's a very important thing. Well, now, we talked a little bit about the problem I had with the call center, and we talked a little bit about my account rep who wanted me to produce PDF documents, and my dear compliance officer. Well, I happen to have a call scheduled with my Crawford Technologies sales rep, Jonathan McGrew. So he should be coming by any moment now. Parking his Jaguar.
Hello, Dave.
Hey, Jonathan, how you doing?
I'm very good, thank you.
Great. You helped me out in the past with some things, but I've really got a couple of issues that have come to mind. And, one of them is, we're an AFP shop.
I have heard, yes.
And I've had a couple instances where my reps really want me to bring in jobs that
Let me guess, they want to bring in like PDF.
PDF, or they want to bring in, one guy even said Metacode a while ago.
Metacode?
Yeah, old stuff. Anyway, so I've got to be able to deal with that. And then, I don't know when I need a reprint done. We lost Jane's statement 2 days ago, and it took me 45 minutes, impacted 5 people to track down her statement.
Yep. Yeah, we've heard that from a lot of our customers, Dave.
And then my dear compliance officer informed me that I'm not ADA 508C compliant because we're not addressing the document accessibility world.
Oh, okay. We can help you with all of those things. Here's the thing. It's really easy. So
Super.
We just need to go into your conference room here, go out on your floor, walk around, look at some things, put together a plan. We'll get you fixed up.
Great. And through the magic of media, we just had that meeting. And a couple of things I learned from my meeting with Jonathan at Crawford is that they are more than transforms. I thought the only thing they really did was transform one PDL to another PDL.
Hey, Dave, what's a PDL?
Print definition language.
Oh.
And that I can actually track every job and every mail piece. So next time I get a call from my customer support rep asking me where Jane's document is, I can simply have them look it right up on their monitor. In fact, guess what? They can look it up on their monitor and not even call me. That just saved me 45 minutes, 5 people saving them time. We just bought a whole bunch of productivity. I can re-engineer my jobs in minutes in the event of down equipment. Remember, I had to convert from continuous form to cut sheet. And then I had to go back to my IT group and have them change something. They went back to the legacy application. They changed some hard code. They made some changes. They printed from duplex continuous to duplex cut sheet, and it took them a while to do it. Using a GUI interface, I can go in with a few mouse clicks and make that change and be able to be up and running quickly. So I can do that in the event of my down equipment. But more importantly, once I get that new job coming in, that may that may require that I do a little bit of load balancing, so I may have to move some stuff from continuous to cut to continuous to be able to address all that load balancing. And I mentioned earlier, but we can easily accept multiple. I don't have to worry about just AFP. I can accept multiple print definitions or print streams including the PDF that my sales rep wanted me to do. I can automate that reprints process to save time and money. I don't have to worry about it. Now, how many people in the transaction world, this is how a reprint goes. I've seen this when I've gone through. The inserter is no inserter rep, no inserter companies in here. Good. The inserter chews up a document. So what happens is the inserter rep puts it in a little tray by the inserter, and they continuously run. Then at the end of the day, they pick up that stack of documents, and they look at it. They usually put a rubber band around it. Then here's the tricky part: the reprint fairy. No, I'm not going there. The reprint fairy comes and picks that up.
I'm the reprint fairy.
And then she goes back to her little writer's garret, and she types in all those little numbers. And the next day, like magic, all the reprints appear. And that was unscripted. So the reprint process can be very time-consuming, very manual, and very error-prone. So being able to automate it makes all the difference in the world. I don't know how much wood the woodchuck chucked on a given basis. I had to, remember this morning, walk the office or the shop and pick up documents from print. I had to pick up documents from insertion. I had to sit there, bring them back, fat finger all that information, and that's why I can say that. Fat finger all that information into spreadsheets so I could really see how productive we were, how much we did, and all of that. And my rep told me that I could actually start now concatenating jobs. So I can bring jobs together to be able to have greater efficiency, and especially when I move to color, I can do so much more for that concatenation. But even bringing the jobs together, I can have greater throughput, greater productivity, and greater mailing density, which lowers my postal costs. So I have a lot of options there. And I can also look at reducing my equipment footprint and save excess maintenance dollars. So I've got a lot of options available to me. And let's not forget, last but not least, I have options for addressing the whole document accessibility. I can do PDF UA, which is PDF user accessible, or I can do Braille. I have the capability of large print, audio, and all kinds of other options. So I can let our customers know the status of their jobs, or I can let my call center know the status of the jobs and respond quickly and avoid issues like I had today dealing with my customer support rep telling me that Jane didn't get her document. I can increase our productivity, which means me and my team will exceed our productivity goals and obtain our bonuses. Isn't that always, that's always nice. I can take on new business. I don't have to turn away the business that Sam brought me because it was in a language I couldn't understand or a print stream I couldn't deal with. Of course, I still have to turn him down, like last year when he tried to ask me to mail footballs in envelopes. That didn't work too well, but the bottom line is I don't have to turn down as much business as I had before. So the most important thing I learned is I can have a full functioning automated document factory in a short notice with limited professional services, and that I can easily justify the ROI. It is very affordable, and that's what was really neat. This is going to be available on the reprint, but I'm not going to go through the full thing. But basically, the automated document factory that we're talking about, Pro Production Manager, that Jonathan told me about in our meeting, covers all of these aspects, and we're able to track each one of them. But I don't want to stop here, because although that addressed a lot of issues that I had in my operations, if you walk the floor out here, there's a lot of other things that need to be looked at in your operation. The full color inkjet trend. It's been around a while. It's gaining traction. Wouldn't you say that, Pat?
You can do it with an HP inkjet web press.
And now back to our regular program already in progress. But there's a lot of excitement about color inkjet. According to various industry consultants, such as InvoTrends, Madison Advisors, and Industry Sources, there's a growing demand for color print. I happened to go to the Inkjet Summit last year, and color print is growing a lot faster than monochrome print, which is actually going down in quantity. So color is it. Color is inexpensive compared to where it used to be. A majority of the folks indicated that they expect an increased future use of full color now that the costs have come down. And it's been a strong growth since about 2008, and it's just growing by leaps and bounds. But before you can start looking at some things, you have to understand your workflows. One of the biggest problems is people don't realize what their workflows are. Are you a cut sheet environment, or are you a continuous feed? So just a couple things to think about as you're looking at each of these. You need to, one of the options with going with high-speed inkjetting is eliminating pre-printed forms. Huge. What impact does that have? Well, other than increasing the speed and efficiency, you can tremendously reduce your inventory. I actually say what? It's so. I actually do a seminar that I use a term called PI. Productivity, inventory, and expenses. Increase productivity, decrease inventory, decrease expenses. Those are the real goals of an operation. So one of those keys was inventory. If you can reduce your inventory, you can have a lot of savings, and it's more than just the cost of the document. You've got warehouse savings, footprint savings, labor savings related to moving the inventory back and forth across the production floor. It can be very, very cost effective. By acquiring large quantities of blank stationery, your buying power improves. So now our cost per image goes down. We can reduce our stationery costs even further by looking at all of these. We can justify full color printing based upon pre-printed form elimination and lower cost per page alone. So look at what you're spending now on all the other things, and that can help offset the cost of your actual hardware. And we have fewer job types can be achieved by using some document re-engineering and merging like jobs alike. In fact, they don't even have to be like jobs anymore. I can have jobs of different types merged together because I've got the forms digitally, and I'm printing the actual letterhead on the document as I go, because I've got white paper in, full color output out, and I've saved productivity dollars, inventory dollars, and expenses. Well, document re-engineering, as I mentioned, can join jobs together, and however, when you do that, you also have to manage the barcode sequencing so that the inserter and post-printing operations are able to deal with it. Using the software that Jonathan talked to me about, we're able to do that. So we can contribute, we can set up our barcode sequencing and our control files like MRDFs and any codes that we need for our automated insertion processes. Well, we talked about printing inventory. I'm going to pick on Pat since we are each other's assigned hecklers at presentations, and Pat's on next hour, so guess where I am. Anyways, one of the other advantages of using or merging documents together is the ability to use a single envelope, usually a dual windowed envelope, where you've got the personalized return in the return area, and one of our customers is actually printing out it's an insurance agency, and they're actually printing out the name and local address of the insurance agent rather than going back to corporate USA. So you have that flexibility and personalization, and then you can also move the address block and appropriate brand and return envelopes as you need to deal with this, as you're looking at going from flats to half folds to flats, and so on. Yes, Pat.
But Dave, what if I have multiple brands and I need different logos on the envelopes?
We even have tools that can address that and print the logos on the envelope. So the technology out there is wonderful. All you have to do is open up your eyes, look at it, and see what you can do. And then having it all managed under one central spot gives you greater flexibility. You can eliminate physical inserts. This is a double-edged sword. I used to work for a company that did inserters, and we said inserts are the best thing around. How many people, when they get their document, their envelope in the mail, open it up by shaking it over the trash can and letting all the inserts fall in the trash can and just keeping the statement? I see a lot of heads bobbling, a lot of hands up in the air. I do it too. However, you can reduce the physical cost of those inserts by producing onserts. They can be very customized to the individual and become part of the document. As you're tossing the inserts in the trash can, what are you doing with your statement? You're filing it in your file cabinet so that you have it. So now you've got your document along with the inserts. So 2 days or 2 weeks from now, and you've got that idea, oh wow, someone was trying to sell me a widget, and I really need a widget today. I can't remember who it is. You can go back to your statements and say, oh wow, it was bank selling me that. So I can go back to it and I have it available. There's other choice. There's other things too. Now I have a smaller footprint on my inserter because I don't need to have all these inserts. I've got that whole thing of less inventory again. I have less material handlers having to move all that inventory. So I've got all kinds of savings, and it really isn't costing me anything more than what I'm doing. In fact, it's saving me money. The tools that we've talked about, or we're going to talk about, can re-engineer and accomplish that. So let's go back to the future 3 months from now. Well, I installed my Crawford Tech solutions that Jonathan told me about.
Yay.
He's out in the Caribbean spending his commission check. We can now accept any PDL.
PDL means?
Print definition language. I would think my sales rep would remember that. But we might require additional modules, but the impact is extremely minimal. I can now provide PDF UA for my accessibility requirements that addresses the needs of my compliance officer. I can provide redacted statements.
Redaction?
Redaction. That's
Redaction?
Redaction. It's like you're missing something.
Well, you mean taking something out?
Taking it out of the document. You know, you've seen redacted documents on the news when someone leaks something from the Pentagon and it's got all that black ink all over that. Try doing that with transactional documents that everyone has to be redacted. And then there's a definition, you know, what is redacted? Are you simply just putting black marks over there, or have you actually gotten rid of the data in the actual document itself, so there's no metadata in there? The solution that we're doing eliminates all the metadata and puts it in. But there's more, you ask.
Is there more, Dave?
I'm glad you asked. We also have the capability now of producing samples for our vendors. Real samples with real data. Most people won't release real data to their vendors for samples or proof of concepts. What they do is they produce documents like Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and all of that meet all the rigid requirements that they set. Well, this is only going to be 30 characters. This is always going to be 2.5 inches over to the right. This is going to be 7.6 inches down, and all of that.
Oh, that mimics real life, doesn't it?
And it's great, and it works. And then we install it. And it doesn't work because the real world is different. The address that only had 3 lines all of a sudden has 5. The field that was supposed to be 2.5 inches over is really 3.2. So what we can do with redaction is actually scramble all the private and personal data and be able to produce proof of concept data that is real world as far as the field size goes. So that's just one of the byproducts of being able to redact document. We have the ability to track all jobs, every step of every job. Remember when I said in my turnover meeting this morning that the IT group was late getting the document to print, print was going to get the document late to insert, and I was going to get late to the post office? Not a good sign. So now I can know every step of the way where every document is and be able to track it. I can eliminate those interruptive calls from customer support. I love to talk to Jonathan at customer support, but it took me 45 minutes of my time to find Jane's document. So now he can save that customer support. That saves him money because he doesn't have to make a second call back. I may even be able to hit up Jonathan for some money to help me pay for this solution because his budget center is saving money. So I've increased the customer support service time, I've decreased the customer support expenses, and I have a happier customer because I was able to give them instant gratification of where the status of their job was or their document was when they called.
So that'd be customer communications management?
Basically, yes. So, when you're looking to do all these things, there's some things you need to look at and be careful about. You want to understand what print streams are supported. How are they supported? And what are the gotchas? You need to look at the inserter paper input handling. I want to buy a brand new continuous form. Give me a number, Pat. HP
T300.
HP T300. Thank you, Pat. Your voice changed.
Sorry.
I want to buy my new printer, and it's continuous form. That's great, except for two of my inserters, remember, are cut sheet. So I won't even be able to use those. So I need to understand what my entire workflows are before I start making some changes. And then I need to be working with my marketing group and looking to see what impact they're going to have. I love it when they go, this isn't the right red. Not in the case with certain vendors. It's always spot on. But they want to look at it to see, what impact it's going to have for them. And this even goes so far as, we didn't even talk about digital here since we're pretty much print and mail. But as you start stripping off documents that people want digital, you want to keep the same corporate logos, the same corporate feel, the same corporate look all the way throughout your organization. I don't want to open up the document and expect to have a nice rosy red and find a nice blushing blue. I want the same look and feel across there. So we have that. And then we also want to do a complete analysis of all the jobs to really quantify whether full color inkjet technology makes financial sense for you. And if you do this job right, the answer is probably yes. It does make sense for you, especially if you've got legacy equipment that's already been fully depreciated and you're trudging along with monochrome. Remember, we had some cut sheet printers that are probably toner based and all of that. So it can make a big world of sense for you. So what we've actually talked about today, and we invite you to stop by booth 344 anytime during the show or this. What was that? One more time? Booth 344. Crawford Technologies. And what we've talked about today is this list of products, and I'm not going to go through them product by product, but we'd be happy to talk to you about any of these and how they could benefit you and how they benefited the people we worked with as we built this case study. So I'm going to let Jonathan take over for a while.
Oh, I see. I get the ending presentation. Well, so one of the
we
things,
always save the best for last.
Oh, he's so sweet, isn't he? Well, so we have a solutions approach at Crawford Technologies. So really what we want people to understand is that we like to work with you. We like to understand your needs. We like to help you figure out where you're trying to go and then get you there. We are not about selling you a widget or a tool or a piece of software and then walking away. We want to sell you the solution, help you implement it, and become a long-term provider for you with a really strong relationship. So that's what we're about. We have a solutions approach. We like to put the puzzle pieces together, just to tie in the graphic. So this is a little bit about us. I really won't read this to you. You can read it yourself. But basically, we have many business areas. We deal with document accessibility, as you heard Dave say. We also have our ECM and archive. So for those of you who aren't familiar with all the acronyms, we have Enterprise Content Management and Archive Solutions. And then, of course, Output Management, or high volume transactional output, as we also call it, or customer communications management, or bills and statements, whatever you want to call them, however you communicate with your customers, we can help you deliver that message, whether it's print, electronic, or alternative formats. So that's what we do for a living. We have several awards. We have lots of great people. We work with lots of great industries and organizations that you can see there. PDF Association, Graph Expo, of course. Here we are in the Printerverse. We work with Deb Korn, who is amazing, here in the Printerverse at Graph Expo. So we are connected, aren't we, Dave?
Don't forget Honey. She's amazing too.
Well, yes. We love Honey. And if you don't know who Honey is, you'll have to come to Graph Expo next year. So, remember, we don't make your documents.
We make your documents better.
All right, so if you want to learn more, come see our live demos in our booth 344. We're over on the far workflow section over near GMC and those folks over there. Make sure you come by. We have four 40-plus inch screens in our booth showing demos, everything from our document accessibility. Yes, we have PDF UA ISO standard reading itself with accessibility technology. So you want to come see that. It's really cool.
Okay, I want to add something. You need to take the mic over there. I want to add something when he talks about that PDF reading technology. It's actually reading a document that is in English and French, and is reading it in English and French Canadian in the form and the way that we look at the documents, not starting top left and working its way across and down. It's truly PDF UA. It's truly translated. When the document switches to French Canadian, the voice and the language switches to French Canadian, then switches back to English. So it's really pretty slick the way it does it. The way we really do it is we have two people under the so it's actually pretty slick. So that really concludes our presentation. We hope you've enjoyed it.
Do you have time for a few questions?
We have time for a few questions. I just want to thank everybody. Jonathan and I had a lot of fun putting it together. We hope you enjoyed it and found it amusing and educational.
Thank you.
Jonathan, this is your question. Oh, no.
Okay, I have a number of questions for you. The first question is, I think some of the people in here who don't work with documents wonder who your best customers are.
Who our best customers are? Our best customers are anybody that's producing a document that is personalized or customized in any way, shape, or form. That would include bank statements, finance statements, explanation of benefits, mortgages, credit cards, utility bills, anything that's got that uniqueness to it, a high volume, transactional type document.
Okay, and in-plant operations would be a prospective customer for you?
If they're doing something in the form of, if it's just in-plant where all they're doing is printing the same thing over and over and over and over again with no personalization, no uniqueness, probably not the best fit. But if there's uniqueness to each of those documents, then we're a good fit.
Okay, sounds good. Now, the first product that you talked about, and the person who was suffering through the day was the operations manager. For this product, is it an interface that this person would work with? Is it kind of like Basecamp, or what is it that they're actually interacting with to help them through these challenges?
Well, we invite you to stop by. If this is a person in the room, stop by booth 344. We can actually show it to you. It is software. It is server-based. It is something that you would run on your own servers in your own shop. You have access to it there. It is web-enabled, so that if you get up at 2 or 3 in the morning and just can't sleep, and you're wondering, oh man, I wonder what's happening in the plant, and you can actually log onto your computer and see the status of all your jobs and all of that.
And is there access for other people in the organization, or say tiered access, so some people can look but can't touch?
It's sort of like a gift shop, yes. You have some people that can look and can't touch. I happen to be the bull in the china shop. I just do it all. But yes, you can tier it. You can set the priorities, the privileges, and what people can and can't see. And that's really important when you're a service bureau and you want to set up who can see the jobs. I might give privileges to ABC Company so they can log on and see the status of their jobs, but I don't want them to see the status of XYZ or NBC or ABC or any of that. All I say is be careful what you give them. While it sounds like a wonderful idea, to let ABC see the status of their jobs, they don't understand that you've still got to do XYZ, NBC, ABC, CBS, and all they see is there's been no activity in their job for the last 30 minutes or an hour. So sometimes you can give too much information, but it can be tiered, it can be split, and it can be segmented.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so next question would be 2 questions.
Actually, you only bought 5 questions.
Darn. Okay, I'm going for the bonus question then. I happen to know a little bit about the company heritage, but I think it would be interesting for our viewers at home to understand where Crawford Technology came from and some of the other amazing products that have evolved out of your partnerships with your customers.
Well, Crawford Technologies was formed by Ernie Crawford almost 20 years ago, and we started off in a transformation type, changing from one print stream to another print stream. If you think about it in the world of PCs, if you're as old as I am, which is slightly older than dirt, we did everything in WordStar on the first PCs. Then there was this magnificent program that came out that was called Multimate. And we used it because it really looked like a Wang emulator. And we were thrilled to death. And Pat's head's going like this. Then we went into something called WordPerfect. I'm skipping a few, but the biggies. WordPerfect, that was going to be the de facto standard that everybody was going to use. And it was for a couple of years until this little guy called Bill Gates came out with this thing called Word. And that became the standard. So what had happened was there had to be the changing of one stream to the other stream and so on. And that's the kind of work that we do. Now, we started off doing that, and once you're able to start transforming them, you can start enhancing them. So once you can start enhancing them, you can start adding other value. Then we build in the whole idea of being able to track the documents and being able to present them electronically or digitally through a web portal or whatnot, being able to set up preference databases. We also deal with archiving, with IBM's content management on demand, having interfaces there. Think about it. Remember we talked about redaction? What was redaction? Removing sensitive material from the document. If I go to an archive and I pull up a document that's 25 or 30 years old, your social security number is probably embedded and printed on that document if I do a print. So having the ability to redact that information out, or the account number, is very important. So that's how we got into this whole range of things. Then at one point we actually purchased a small service bureau that did document accessibility, and that's how we got into the world of Braille, large print, audio, and then we actually were on the committee that helped define the standard for PDF UA, which is user accessible PDFs for the visually or even audio type instances. So hopefully that answered your question.
It does. Okay, last question.
Oh, I thought that was the last one.
No, this is the super bonus last question. I know that you're always evolving and doing research and development. What can you, and I will come over to the booth, but what can you tell us is on the horizon in the big mailing and document industries coming up in the next year or two?
Well, we're doing a lot of work, and I can't say a lot of it just because of some of the customers we're working with.
Oh, come on, you can tell us in the printerverse.
Not when I'm under NDA, I can't. We're doing a lot of work in the, especially the redaction, a lot of work with IBM and EMC for archiving and pulling off that whole enterprise content management documents. I mentioned the whole thing about the PDF UA. I think we're the only vendor that has truly PDF UA. That's my opinion. A lot of people call PDF A the same thing, but we actually have full-blown PDF UA to the actual standards. So I think there's going to be a lot of change with that. There's a whole idea of the size of jobs are changing dramatically, so we've been addressing more of a marketecture rather than a product, but we've been addressing the marketecture on how to deal with downsizing of jobs, but being able to maintain the high productivity, lower costs, and still meet your demands. So those are the kinds of things that we see in the future. There's other things that we're working on that I wish I could talk about, but I really want to stay employed tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Crawford.
everybody. We appreciate it.
Thank you so
Stop
much.
by and see us at 344, and Jonathan will go do this presentation by himself.
Coming up, everyone, we have Pat on print. Pat McGrew on print.
Is that why you wear white, so we can print on you?